Wow, you guys certainly seem to like the last video, and I, being so view hungry, am obviously going to capitalize off that. Today, I, a non-binary person, am going to be ranking other non-binary characters. And much like the last video, there's a couple things I have to say before we get into the tier list. The first being that if I were to just rank characters that use they them pronouns, which are the pronouns that I use, the characters that I could choose from would be such a tiny amount, because there's already a severe lack of trans representation, yet then even less of those characters are non-binary, then even less of those are specifically gender neutral. So I'm kind of ranking any character that falls under the non-binary umbrella, and even a few just gender non-conforming cis characters. And also, much like the last video, I'm going to be ranking them based on how much I like them as a character and how good of representation they are. But I think that's all I really have to say this time, so let's jump straight into it. As you can see, it is a slightly bigger tier list than last time, so hopefully that doesn't trigger any woke liberals. What the fuck am I saying? But anyway, our first character is Cal, I believe is how you say that name, from Adult Funtime Education. Okay, so let's get the one slight problem out of the way of this character, and it's not even anything wrong with them specifically, but it just sucks that I'm pretty sure they don't get introduced to like season 3, and this show is all about like people going through puberty and like learning more about themselves, and like from the beginning it's very queer friendly and there's like a gay character introduced in like the very first episode. So then why did it take us so long to actually introduce a trans character? But Cal themselves, I hope I'm pronouncing that name right, is I believe actually very good gender neutral representation. As many of you will know, I discovered I was gender neutral very recently, and I also watched this show very recently, so I dare say this character is part of the reason why I discovered I was gender neutral. There's a scene where they talk about being on testosterone, I believe, and starting to grow some stubble, which really helped me realize that, oh, sometimes like non-binary people also take like hormone replacement therapy. And they really, again, like I was talking about a lot in my autistic video, show a lot of like struggles of being like trans and non-binary without it really feel like pitying or whatever. Like I believe there's like a romantic thing between Cal and this other character, and like there's like tension there because this other character kind of doesn't see Cal as like non-binary, he sees them as like still a woman, I think. And also it was very kind to give our representative, our character, a large part in the finale of the series, and even have a nice almost twist at the end where the money they're saving up for, I think it's like a dance or something, they give to Cal so they can get top surgery. Very wholesome, very informative, very good character. We are starting off strong, but I do reckon I've got to give this S tier. So yes, Cal gets S tier. Let's see, who do we have next? Okay, so apparently this character from Elementals, the Pixar movie, uses they them pronouns. I believe they're part of the Water Guys family. And this is my problem with Disney, right? Everybody, you got all those like anti-woke YouTubers saying, oh, Disney's so woke, Disney are just appealing to like the Rainbow Mafia or whatever. This is literally the representation they give us. Like, did anyone know this character existed before this video? Like, I can't even be bothered to look up that name because they play such a minor role, and it's like the same thing. Like, wasn't there like a lesbian kiss in one of the Toy Story movies, and like there was like this Christian group freaking out about it? Like, it sucks because actual like queer people may not even notice this representation, but of course these anti-woke guys are gonna notice it and they're gonna like complain to Disney about it. It's literally a lose-lose situation, and like I don't really know what they want me to say on this. I have to give it F tier, I fear. Hey guys, sorry for the random interruption. I've just got back in from college, but essentially my 2 latest videos have like absolutely blown up, especially my last one, and I don't really get why, but I just say thank you. That's generally so awesome that like this many people wanted to watch the things I make, so that's awesome. Also, just to say real quick, if you have liked this video or either of the last 2, make sure to just double check the subscribe button because it really helps smaller creators like myself. So yeah, there you go, this character is an F tier. Please, Disney, at least live up to your representation and make your next character a trans black lesbian or something. Okay, so next up we have Rain from The Owl House, an incredible show. This actually came up in my autistic video. Have I plugged that video enough yet? But yeah, so Rain in terms of autistic representation, that like gender neutralness didn't come up a lot, which I kind of get because didn't this show like get cancelled for how much queer representation it had? Once again, a Disney show, so yeah, really shows how big allies Disney are. But yeah, I get why like Dana Terrace, I believe her name is, the creator of the show. I get why she couldn't make like Rain's gender neutralness like a big part of like that storyline. But them as a character, they're pretty fun. Like I barely remember. Isn't there like a twist where like you kind of think they could be evil, but they're not really? I don't know. I believe they had a thing going on with Ida, which that was quite nice. Oh yeah, I really liked the episode they're introduced in. And did they have music powers or did they fight someone with music powers? I'm sorry, I cannot watch like 10 different shows for this video to remember what happened in each of them, but yeah, I remember liking Rain. Like, I feel like I don't have to say a lot for every single character. Everyone knows Rain's pretty good representation. I think I'm gonna give them probably an A, just because again, like, that gender neutralness didn't come up loads, but again, like, I completely understand why, like, and it like, I'm honestly shocked they were even allowed to have like a gender neutral character in there. It's probably because they could have like lied about it a bit and been like, oh no, they're not gender neutral, everyone just uses they them pronouns for them by coincidence. So now we go, I put Rain in A, let's see which character we have to rank next. Okay, so this is the first one of those characters where it's kind of questionable if I should have included them on the list or not. It's Klaus from Umbrella Academy. I don't know if they're more like non-binary or whatever in the comic, but in the show, I know they are gay. Well, he is gay because I'm pretty sure he still identifies as a cis man. He's just a bit gender non-conforming in terms of fact he wears skirts and things. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he still identifies as a cis man. I'm pretty sure he's not non-binary. But like even that representation can still help because it kind of shows like clothes is kind of dumb to like put them into gender categories of, oh, because you were born with certain genitalia you have to wear trousers, and then because you were born with certain genitalia you have to wear dress. Like, no, that's quite dumb. And like having characters like Klaus that just like wear dresses and that's just like a totally normal thing that they do, like that really does help break down that like cis stereotype. I can't obviously put him super high, you know, in terms of like representation because technically he isn't non-binary, but I still respect like what he did for like, you know, in terms of like pushing that movement and pushing that idea, so I'm probably gonna put him in B. So yeah, there we go, Klaus is in B. It feels a little weird to have him any higher because obviously the characters above are like really solid, actually gender neutral, non-binary characters, but again, it still helps, so yeah. Also, obviously you got Victor in that show, who's a trans man. I'm not talking about him today because he's not non-binary, he's like, I'm pretty sure he's a binary trans man, but great representation there as well. Alright guys, who's ready for a bit more drama? So I don't know if you recognise this image, but I'll basically explain what it is. I'm going to be real, I haven't done a ton of research into this just because it's not the main topic of this video. But if I understand correctly, essentially these two were supposed to be part of like a team, like a new team to like draw in younger fans into comic books. And I don't know if you've met young people, but they're all really gay. At least if you ask older cis straight people. So these two characters, they were supposed to be part of the new team. And I believe that, I'm not sure if both of them are non-binary. I know one of them definitely uses they them pronouns. I should probably look into which one it is. Okay, so I think it's the blue one that uses they them pronouns, I'm pretty sure. Not quite sure what the other one's pronouns are. But basically, okay, you might think, well, why is this so controversial, you know? It's good to have some representation, especially if this is a newer team, you know, keeping up with like newer ideals and stuff. Well, their names are literally Snowflake and Safe Space. Yeah, great. That's definitely not mocking at all. Something that, you know, Snowflake especially, something that tons of like trans people get called if they like just, you know, don't want to get called slurs or just want to be gendered correctly. I do want to give you know, these characters the benefit of the doubt because we never really got to see them. They might have been written well. Also, again, don't quote me on this, I'll put some more factual information up on screen now, but I believe the creator of these two characters and the person that was going to be handling these comic books was cis and straight. Like, all in all, just because we never got to see these characters in, like, their true form, like, see what they could have become, I don't want to put them in the literal lowest, but I will put them quite low. I'm probably going to put them in D. Okay, so now we go. Snowflake and Safe Space in D tier, and next up we have Bon Clay from One Piece. Now, firstly, before I talk about Bon Clay, just to piss off the One Piece fanbase even more, Yamato is also a trans man, I fully believe that. But if you don't believe Bon Clay is gender fluid, then just admit that you only read One Piece for the cool fights. Like, he's literally described as being the only Baroque Works member who doesn't need a female partner, because he can be both the male and female partner in his duo. If you want to say that makes him more bi-gendered than gender fluid, then fair enough. Like, his literal dream is to, like, meet Ivankov, who's, like, another queer icon, and then he finds himself with all these, like, drag queens and gender non-conforming and gender fluid people. Also, I don't remember 100%, but doesn't he literally have, like, two names, like Bon Clay and Bentham? Because one is his fem name and one is his masc name. And also, obviously, I could talk about here, like, Ivankov and the O-Combers. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not, like, that versed in, like, that whole side of things, and obviously, like, how that relates to, like, Japanese culture and stuff. But, I do know that at least from my Western... I always forget, at least from my British viewpoint of, like, this series, like, Bon Clay is just literally gender fluid, and, like, if you don't like that, and if you're one of those One Piece fans that somehow, like, hates LGBTQ or whatever, like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you need to learn how to read. Bon Clay, my absolute goat of goats, king of queens, and queen of queens, is definitely going in A tier. But there's Bon Clay in A. The only thing I will say about Bon Clay, and this is fair to criticize about a lot of One Piece queer representation, is the designs are very bad, okay? They're very stereotypical, they are very mocking. I will say, no, Oda has completely fixed this with Kiku and Yamato. Like, Kiku, you know, has, like, a pretty good design, and then Yamato is really good because it shows, like, gender identity doesn't always reflect how you represent. Like, Yamato, you could argue, represents still very femme, but he still identifies as a man, so yeah. But yes, the design of Bon Clay and Ivankov and a lot of trans and queer representatives before the time skip, definitely problematic. And that was the exact moment I ran out of room to record on my phone. I was gonna rank Morph in C because whilst I think it's a bit of a cop-out to make the character that can literally become any gender fluid, he as a representation isn't that bad. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.